Captain America.
Mr. Lang?
It's an honor. I'm shaking your hand too long. Wow, this is awesome.
Captain America. I know you too. You're great.
Jeez. Look, I want to say, I know you know a lot of super people, so thanks for thanking of me.
That's from Captain America Civil War, the latest blockbuster from Marvel, opening nationwide next Friday. Despite the calendar, it also kicks off the summer movie season.
So it's time to preview the most eagerly awaited movies in the pipeline. And here with that is Matt Singer, managing editor and critic for the film website ScreenCrush.com. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
So is Captain America the hit of the summer? It's been hyped everywhere.
It's going to be big. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's called Captain America Civil War, but there's a bigger cast in this one than in the last Avengers movie. You got Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, on and on. We saw Paul Rudd, so many actors. Then they have new characters like this Black Panther guy played by Chadwick Boseman. There's a new Spider-Man. There are almost as many people fighting in Captain America Civil War as there were in the actual Civil War. And so, I mean, less is more, not a credo that Marvel adheres to. That said, I've seen the movie. It is a lot of fun, and there is a big fight scene here at an airport, which I think we're seeing here, that is going to go down in history as one of like the biggest and best superhero fight scenes ever.
Now, Matt, box office for the last 3 summers has been flat.
Yes.
Could it be that because they just keep making the same movies over and over again?
I guess that's possible. I mean, every year there's another reason not to go to the movie theater. The reason might be there's a new season of my favorite show streaming online.
Yes.
Or the reason could be the last time I went to the movie theater, the guy sitting next to me was taking pictures of the screen with his phone, and this happened to me just recently. He was using his flash to take pictures. I don't know if you can tell, this really bothered me.
Yeah.
So
sensing it.
All of that said, there's got to be something to get you not only to want to see the movie, but to like need to see the movie. And that's why we have these huge films. Now, you can say they make the same ones over and over again, but they are trying to make events, things that people feel like they can't miss.
Tell us about Money Monster, because you mentioned, I mean, how films are, the revenue they're bringing in. George Clooney, he's in this movie with Julia Roberts. George Clooney's movies, even though people love him, they haven't performed that well.
Yeah, he hasn't had a big hit in a while. This one, he plays sort of a Jim Cramer-esque kind of TV host. He hosts a show that gives stock advice. He's taken hostage live on the air. Julia Roberts plays the director of his show. And given the subject matter, I feel like this movie could be very timely, could be very relevant. But this is the summer movie season we're talking about, when timely and relevant are not always the most popular qualities in movies. People tend to go for more like explosions and punching. So I think the hope here is maybe if this movie is good, it's kind of counter-programming. It's the movie you see if you're not in the mood for Captain America.
All right, now you talk about events, and I'm trying to make events. This is an event for me, Finding Dory, the sequel to Finding Nemo.
It's finally here.
You guys are excited. So
Yes,
they've got 2 tickets sold for sure. I mean, Pixar's track record with sequels has been a little spotty. You have Toy Story 2 on the one hand, and then I don't even think my arms can stretch wide enough to show you the gulf between Toy Story 2 and Cars 2. The reason to be hopeful for Finding Dory is the guy who made Finding Nemo, Andrew Stanton, he came back to Pixar to make this movie. So you hope he can sort of recapture the magic one more time.
Okay.
Yes.
20 years later, they're making a sequel, Independence Day Resurgence.
Yes.
I mean, that's a long time to wait. Is there a lot of buzz about this movie?
No Will Smith in this.
There's no Will Smith. Someone plays his son. That's sort of how they're getting around that thing. I think what they're hoping for here is to be sort of the Jurassic World of this summer, to be the long-awaited sequel to a beloved 90s blockbuster with bigger special effects.
Is there some reason he didn't sign on?
The reason that the director has given in interviews is that, well, he's made a bunch of sequels recently, he made a bunch of sci-fi movies recently, he wanted to do something different. Now, I don't know if perhaps he saw the screenplay and that may have affected his judgment. I don't know, but that was the reason that was given.
I wouldn't have turned down that check. All right, moving on to July, we have a new Steven Spielberg-directed fantasy film called The BFG.
That's right. Yeah, when you hear fantasy children's film, Steven Spielberg, you think of E.T., or at least I do, and kind of the interesting thing here is the writer of E.T., Melissa Matheson, wrote the screenplay for this film. So you sort of hope that perhaps they've recaptured some of that magic with this one. It's based on a book by Roald Dahl. His books have turned into movies like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So to me, that sort of combination of subject matter and creators is very exciting.
I want to ask you about the Ghostbusters remake.
Oh boy, touchy subject for some people.
High on my list.
I hope so. I hope it's great. Look,
Big on my list.
I mean, the cast, Kristen
Incredible.
Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones. I mean, these are all the women you want to see right now.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, some people get very touchy about, oh, they're remaking Ghostbusters. And to me, it's like, look, if you have to remake Ghostbusters, do I want to see a new Ghostbusters? Not necessarily. But if they're going to make one, make it with the biggest comedy director on the planet, Paul Feig, and make it with the funniest people on the planet, which to me are these 4 women are amongst the funniest people around right now.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't see how there could be a better possible Ghostbusters, at least on paper, than this one.
I'm going. Also in July, we have the 3rd film in J.J. Abrams' Star Trek reboot.
That's right, Star Trek Beyond. I don't know what exactly they're going beyond this time, but
Beyond.
they're going beyond the stars. This one, I mean, if you've liked the previous ones, this one looks very much in the same style. It's not the Star Trek of our childhoods where there are people talking about science. It's people running. Again, it's the summer. This is about explosions and punching.
I didn't do well in science. That's good for me.
Yeah, you'll be just fine here.
You say Beyond. I cannot believe we're up to the 5th installment of Jason Bourne. We have Matt Damon coming back.
Yes, he's back after almost a decade since the last one that he made. And to me, this is one that I feel like is almost as sure of a sure thing this summer. Maybe after Captain America. I have a hard time imagining this movie not being very successful. People love the Bourne movies, at least when Matt Damon is in them.
I missed him, I have to say.
Yeah, he's
Matt is
back. Paul Greengrass is back, the guy who made 2 of the 3 previous ones with him. So I think this one's going to be a huge hit.
Finally, in August, we have DC Comics' Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. I think this is DC and Warner's. They're trying to kind of capture some of that Guardians of the Galaxy Marvel magic. This is, I think, their attempt to kind of do their own version of that with a superhero team that's not well known, that's kind of quirky and edgy. You have Jared Leto playing the Joker here. Will Smith is in this one. He turned down Independence Day to make Suicide Squad.
Well, there's a rumor Ben Affleck could be in this one too, right?
Yeah, you see a little bit of Batman in the trailer here. I don't know if we've seen him yet, but he pops up a couple of times in the trailer, and supposedly he showed up to shoot a little bit of this one as well as like a cameo.
All right, well, in addition to seeing to seeing Ghostbuster, now I know don't ever take a picture next to you in the
Please do not do that. I would get very upset.
Matt Singer, thank you as always.
I'll text you for my next film.